everybody, it is Lee the Rogue Firefly here, and today we are with A Place Forbidden. Before we begin, I would like to give you a few quick notes. One, I have tried recording this several times, and I have had complications. While I move, this moves, and sometimes it's the unrecord button, the stop recording button, or the turn off microphone button. So, plus the footage, I was allowing it to go over like a little over an hour, around an hour 30, and I know that's quite a lot for me, especially since the Dark Souls times, but I still, if it's like 2 hours or more, then I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But it was getting close to 2 hours because I had to keep recording and stopping, and there's also a lot of dilly-dallying and whatnot, but I'm going to try to get past as much of this as I can. Actually, as I was trying to record this all over again, what do you know? It hit stop record. I really need it. Like, I keep telling myself I need to pay attention to that. It's so annoying. Plus, if you hear anything in the background, it's just my dog. She's a good girl, so. On top of that, this is part of the EEK Companion Series. It's not necessary to watch EEK, but if you want to get any context to the certain things we experience in EEK, say the games they present, or some of the characters, you can. There's actually two types of, kinds of things you will see, or part types in the series, is what I should say. But it's not going to be two separate series, it's just one series, but there's two types. One is the game, the ones where it's like the game cabinets. This is one of the games from the game cabinets that you see them presenting. And then on top of that, then there's the ones where there's characters that are like people around the convention that appear in other games. Say like the manager from Night of the Consumers, or one of the monsters from Lost in Vivo, which that might be actually like 3 or 4 parts. But I might try to split into 2 very long parts. I don't know. But anyways, we will try to get through this as fast as possible. But don't worry, this game is actually quite enjoyable, and I'm surprised. Despite it being I thought it was going to be a really small game, but it is quite expansive in a sense, despite only being an hour long. I really like it. Yeah, my only problem is, and I think it's just my computer itself, but yeah, when I'm moving around my camera with the character and all that, it goes back up here. It's so annoying, and it's stopped recording. So also, one last note, extras, the prologue. We already played the prologue in the demo, and you're probably curious about what I mean by that, but I will explain once we jump in. So let's start. This sure as hell isn't my apartment. So, let's go over here and read real quick. The Visitors, Intel Crewman, April 19th, 1886. Mason Thompson, January 5th, 1881. Lionel Hess, September 2nd, 1900. Elabatia, April 26th, 1916. Samuel D. Eliot, May 1st, 1790. Alice Chen, October 30th, 1930. Hans Groening, February 5th, 1956. One thing I want to note, along with the next name I will be reading, is that all of something the game doesn't do, but I still want to give the warning anyways. All of these names are completely fictitious and for the narrative, for the most part. I don't know if they're necessary, but still they're part of the story in a sense. And any names that might be similar, if any of these are your guys' names, it's completely coincidental. I know a lot of media does that, so I don't know the whole spiel, but anyways, I've kind of memorized this whole song and dance I have to do. And Bernard White, that's our character from the prologue. You probably were thinking we were Bernard White again. We just started in a different area. No, Bernard White was the one before the last person. I would guess you were thinking we were V. We're not V either. V was the person before us, and we'll see their name pop around in notes here and there, but we will never actually end up meeting V. Anyways, so nameless protagonist. Greetings, visitor. You're more than welcome to sign your name and the date of your visit in this guest book. Once you've done that, we welcome you to explore the library to your heart's content, so long as it isn't after closing. Once you've had your fill, please let yourself out. You'll find a key to the front door on one of the desks in the study. Down here. Also, you'll find two types of collectibles, or sort of like little Easter egg things in here. You'll find and collect certain kinds of like ancient knowledge, along with finding these small books. What is this? A book for ants? Unfortunately, I completed all the achievements, so you guys won't end up getting to see that. Sorry. Pretty depressing. Yeah. I definitely did fall asleep in this chair. Nice painting. Doesn't seem like a very fair fight. Greetings, visitor. We'd like to take a moment to tell you about our wonderful library. The Library of Ouroboros is a state-of-the-art facility designed to replicate the rural charm found in many older buildings. Without the associated risks such buildings are known to accumulate. The building might seem like a strange sight amongst Wall Street's many towering skyscrapers, but we believe this dichotomy will be what sets us apart. We're glad that you decided to give us a chance and hope that our stock of books will appeal to you. Obviously, our collection of information isn't so vast as to encapsulate the whole of the internet, but we hope that the charming aesthetic design of our library will help you escape from the hustle and bustle of New York's life. If you hear any strange footsteps, don't worry. There may still be construction going on above or below you. From us all, thanks again. And let's see, does our protagonist say... Last I remember, I was sitting at home reading a letter from an old friend. But it's a strange thing, now I can't remember what it was about, or who it was that sent it. I also don't remember putting anything in my pocket, but I feel something. The notebook. Room 1, you should really clean this place up. Don't lose the trash. Room 2, this room makes me wish I had someone to vent to. Room 3, I think I'm cracking under the strain. I have the strangest inclination to walk straight into a wall. Room 4, there's a secret path in the dark. Room 5, art can really be illuminating. Welcome message. From all our staff, welcome. We're glad you're here. The library is located in a picturesque part of Britain, atop a grassy knoll east of Sussex. Many rural townships, obviously bereft of their own libraries, refer their villagers to the library. It is beloved by all. Peruse our vast stock of fiction, non-fiction, poetry, and everything in between. Chat with friendly librarians and employees, and feel free to spend as long as you'd like reading, using our computers, or just spending time here. We always love new visitors. Should you hear any odd knocking in the corners of the building, pay it no mind. The library is on the older side, and the Foundation plays tricks on some visitors' minds. Don't worry, though. It's perfectly safe. The staff. Also, you probably really hear my dog if you can really hear the atmosphere in my room. In any case, my dog's a bulldog, so that's probably why it sounds like she's having a hard time breathing. You know, bulldogs and pugs don't have the best noses.
Hello. Welcome to the Library of Ouroboros. We're glad that you've decided to visit our humble institution. Hopefully, you'll find what it is you're looking for. Please be informed that the library is closing. Since most of our staff are currently away, please lock the door on the way out. We hope you've enjoyed your visit.
And as you can see, these computers doesn't look much better than I feel. Dead. Doesn't look like it's plugged in. Unresponsive. Broken. Oh hey, this one's not working. Very sarcastic. And if you see, there's cameras watching this. So it is very modernized, like the dude said. Peace to you, friend. We're glad you've decided to join us, despite its name. The library is open to people of all sorts of different faiths, with our vast tracts of religious knowledge, modern, old, and otherwise. We're certain you'll find the peace you seek. We know you've traveled far to arrive here, so please do rest. Keep an open mind. Read to your heart's content, and we'll be sure you're well provided for. One matter of note, we ask you not to linger after closing, or to descend too far into the library's bowels. Some of our books are quite old, and very sensitive to the ingress of foreign temperatures and moistures. Thank you for understanding. Weird, almost all the words crossed out. Oh, I thought... Word crossed out and the pages are stuck together. I can't open this any further. I thought the recording... Okay, it was pretty close to the recording. No. Ouroboros, a circular symbol, the snake swallowing its tail, a representation of the endless cycle of death and rebirth. Of wholeness, the infinite, and a certain kind of cloyness, meaninglessness. Never put too much stock in mysticism, but in this place, it's pasted all over the goddamn walls. Tough to avoid that. Last I remember, I was on some occult website sitting on the farthest end of the internet, past the places that'd normally dissuade the less curious. Had just a little too much time on my hands. I remember falling asleep. Now I'm here. The library said that this place is the Library of Ouroboros. Remember reading something about that, but not what or where. If you're reading this, keep an eye out. Something isn't right. V. So that's the V person I was telling you guys about. And also, I should just double check. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's in order. Okay, so, welcome message. Thank you for visiting the Library of Ouroboros. Thank you for visiting the Library of Ouroboros. Thank you for visiting the Library of Ouroboros. Thanks for coming. You can go now. Okay, bye-bye. You can leave. And if you try to leave without the phone, which I've tried to do once, it says, maybe we should, maybe I should not leave without the phone. It's like, maybe you should. Long list of books and the dates they were checked out. Funny, none of them have the year listed, only months and days. The screen looks burnt out. Nothing happens when I press the buttons. Talk about a blast from the past. All the phone numbers are 3 digits too short. No. Oh, hey, guess what happened when I was trying to ensure that this thing doesn't stop recording? It stopped recording. Wow, I was trying to fix that. Very funny. So let's just go through this. It's not that hard. Shoot some hoops.
I left something for you by the place where you arrived.
Yeah, you tried to sneak up on me, Mouse. You tried to do it. You ain't gonna do it to me again. So here's one of those collectibles I was telling you guys about. The forbidden knowledge. Alright, I forgot to grab the keynote stuff. Oh yeah, you can't loop here. The handle turns, but I can't open it. Doesn't move at all, feels a little warm to the touch. This can't be right.
Hello. We'd like to inform you that the library is now closed. Note that it is unlawful to remain on the premises after closing. This is your one and only warning.
The Minister's Doom, Act 3, Scene 2. This is a book we read from the prologue, but I guess I'll read it again for those who don't remember. Bernice enters, followed closely by the librarian. Bernice is breathless, looking both exasperated and slightly excited. The librarian's expression is unreadable as per usual. Bernice, but my husband will find out about us. He won't stay out forever. The librarian, I shouldn't be so sure, my dear. But shall we retire to the living room if we're to speak of such unpleasantness as your husband? Bernice's face suddenly breaks into a grin. She grabs the librarian's hand, taking him onto the couch beside her. Fine then, if you're to stay, I want to hear some of those secrets you keep talking about. Oh, sorry. You can't blame me for a fool forever. I would never claim to do such a thing, my dear. Would you care to hear how I can stop a human heart with but a single word? Goodness, that sounds dangerous. It most certainly is. I wish to hear it, then of course you shall. He leans close to Bernice, who closes her eyes as if expecting a kiss, but the librarian leans past her, whispering something in her ear. Bernice's eyes open wide. She gives a single jerk, a strangled groan, and goes limp, sliding off the couch. Too curious for her own good. He stands, reaching in one of his pockets to withdraw a single black case containing Bernice's wedding ring. Taking a cursory look around the living room, the librarian eventually focuses on a single point on the opposite side. The librarian crosses the floor, leaves his item, and turns to leave. As he does so, the scene darkens, leaving only a single spotlight to illuminate the stage. It is fixated on the small black case, which the librarian has decided to leave sitting atop the minister's writing desk. This one. On the library, very early into my professorship, a student came to my office one spring afternoon with a stack of papers in her arms. She said she'd been having strange dreams of a place stretching forward and backward into infinity, dreams of hallways splitting into hallways, dreams of being lost in the intricate guts of some gigantic place that could not possibly exist. On the papers were crude sketches. She was no artist, she said, but something about the dreams had left such a vivid impression on her that putting what was in her brain to the page seemed her only option. She was clearly distressed. When I gently suggested that she visit the university psychologist rather than the resident ancient history professor, she violently shook her head, asking if I knew anything about something called the Ouroboros library, or perhaps a Library of Ouroboros. It was entirely clear. I told her the common knowledge about the symbol taken from the Egyptians by the Greeks, and from the Greeks by the medieval Europeans. A sign of alchemy, of death and rebirth, and so forth. The student continued shaking her head all through my explanation, until she suddenly cut me off. Those are too old, she said. The place for my dreams was modern. There was electricity, computers, but everything seemed ancient and stank of old dust and damp wood, and something else. Please, don't you know of anything in recent times that might have stemmed from that idea? I confessed that I hadn't, especially considering the size and the many niches of the modern world. She had left without another word, leaving her drawings behind. Something about the conversation shook me. I looked through the crude drawings, made in a shaky hand, and saw in the familiar shapes and designs an odd air of ominousness. like looking at the facade of a dark building and hearing the slightest scratches of things that shouldn't be, just behind the stones. All very juvenile thoughts, and yet, when I went home that evening, I brought the drawings. I couldn't help but want to look more into what we discussed into the Library of Ouroboros. It was largely fruitless, and I found many sites and articles on alchemy, the symbol itself, or the public library in Ouroboros County, which was located somewhere in rural Wisconsin. But just as the hour crept past midnight, I found something, the slightest snatch of information at the bottom of a rabbit hole series of links. I will not repeat the website's domain or my steps to arrive there for fear that someone might try to replicate what I did, but I will repeat what I found. Because just as that student couldn't get the ideas from her head without drawing, I find I can't think of anything else, waking or sleeping. I hope this will help. The Library of Ouroboros, a kind of waking nightmare arrived upon by those too curious for their own good. Rich in black secrets, rich in dark ideas lost to time, rich in language from dead races on other planets. The fortunate die, the truly lucky, or perhaps the most unfortunate of all, become tenders for all time, knowing far more than any living being could ever hope to learn, without becoming a permanent, perpetually screaming stain on the face of space-time forever. None have left it unscathed. There are forbidden tomes that would prevent you from breathing should you merely touch them, and the tenders are beyond sanity and jealously keep their terrible secrets. You've searched enough. This is your final warning. That night, I slept fitfully, my dreams beset by images of a dark, dusty place, eerie for its supposed normalcy. I could almost feel things passing by just beneath the floorboards. Within the walls, watching me. Every exit led to another room, nearly the same as the one before it, and out of the windows I saw only black. My dreams have been consistently disturbed since that night, so much so that it's hard for me to teach, so heavily preoccupied is my waking mind. I hope this writing will be enough to put my mind at ease. One last thing. I've since tried to find the student who first contacted me to tell her what I learned. My hope was that I might be able to put her mind at ease, or at least commiserate with her, but I haven't been able to find her. In fact, since the day she visited my office, her roommates haven't seen her nor has anyone else, and I fear it might be next. That's nice. Also, you don't have to throw these away over there, but you do get an achievement if you do. You don't get an item in this. So, but yeah, if you want to do more achievements, there's some here, there's some there, but I think you only have to clean up the ones in here. Just one right there and there and stuff. I can't read any of these. Oh, actually this one. The note is largely obscured by blood. You can make out only a handful of words. In one of the dustier books fell apart in my hands. There were these arcane scribbles feels. After I threw it away, still not quite right, like something is watching. Scribbles, there's no real words on this page. Ha! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! I love it when my thing stops recording. Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Can you tell? Anyways, too smudged to be legible, and if I see that thing do it again, anyways, the only thing that happened is I grabbed the screwdriver over here. There's a screwdriver right there. Okay. Okay, we all on the same page. Anyways, I didn't notice this before, but I can read this book. Oh, thankfully I can do WASD, and escape leaves the book, so I don't need to go all the way up here near my recording. So anyways, a kind slumber. I've been driving for miles and miles and miles. It's night. I'm tired, so tired. Been on the road for what feels like days. Don't like this consistent moving. Never have, but it wasn't this bad when I was younger. Could sleep in the car when my parents drove. Now I don't have anybody to drive me. Two of them got too caught up in some of the darker parts of our world. A black library by our old house. They went in, never came out. They're why I can't sleep. Their book, what I learned without trying, as I opened the dusty thing, sitting disused as I cleaned out what remained of the attic. Didn't even mean to, and yet here we are. There have been no other cars for hours. This dark stretch of road, my truck and all I've known. As I drive along, a halo of red and blue neon forms in my windshield, a bastion in the dark, a tiny diner. I'm not hungry, I'm not thirsty, just tired. But all the same, I take the exit as it comes up, pulling into the parking lot between a beat-up jalopy and a truck that looks a lot like mine. I hardly feel the cold outside. I hardly feel anything. It's like being trapped in somebody else's body. Things don't feel like they fit right on my muscles anymore. The diner's just as cold as the outdoors and hardly more inviting. The distressing red pleather of a bunch of booths that should have been trashed years ago. Dirty tables, floors buffed into a mockery of cleanliness, empty but for a man in a heavy coat in one corner and a waitress in the other. The man is standing, the waitress is also standing. They look like prize fighters about to square off, or they would if they were looking at each other. Instead, I can't see the man's face or his collar and hat, and the woman is looking at me. "Seat, sir?" I nod. "Rough weather out?" she says. "Oh, rough weather out," she says, trying to smile as I take my seat. I can tell I look terrible. "Do you know a place where I can get some shut-eye?" I ask, almost without realizing it. I can't sleep, but maybe I can still try. "Not a motel for miles. You can sleep at your table if you want, though. You don't even have to order anything." "Thank you." I set my head down on the table and my eyes don't shut. That black knowledge slithered its way from those stained pages and into my brain, and now eclipsed my eyelids, forcing them wide, the diner sideways. I'm like this for a few minutes, then there's someone else standing sideways in front of me. That man in that coat, his face is a dark red mess, sleep deprivation. "Tired, buddy?" I nod. The table is cold against my numb face. "I think we can help each other." He reaches toward my face, laying a hand upon my cheek. There's a flicker of feeling, of warmth that cuts through the fog that swallowed up my head for days. As he withdraws his hand, I see a strip of ragged flesh in it, which he brings to his face. When he lifts his hand again, the flesh is gone. "Thanks, buddy. May I take the rest?" I nod. The table is cold against my face, and as I finish nodding, he turns my head thoroughly and grabs at it, pulling away another strip of red. There's feeling, there's tiredness. The tiredness becomes more pronounced. He doesn't ask anymore, just takes. Each time his hand comes down, a little part of me leaves. But at that point, I don't care much care. Take it all. I'd like to rest. The table has turned red, like the seats around us. Time passes, feeling's gone. Sleep. The man in the coat takes down his collar, and I see my face looking down at me. Tired, he reaches down into my pocket, fishes out my keys. "Rest easy, buddy," he says, and something else that I don't hear. He's gone. And it all is. Wow, that was nice. Here's that second tiny book. Where do you work out? At the library. I can't help but feel as if I stand before the precipice of some terrible reality, left one room only to come right back to it. Shame there's no place to go but straight ahead. I've hidden a few tools in this room in case the path ahead isn't what I hope it is. If they're not here anymore, then good news. The path ahead, at least immediately, is probably safe. Zero chance of any hostile entities. If they're still here, though, well, I hope they're useful to you. You're going to need all the help you can get. Now, I want to let you guys know, pretty much all the puzzles, except for the very, very final one, which gets you one of the endings, I pretty much did legit. I know you expect me to cheat, but no, I did this all completely legit. Like I said, except for that very, very, very last puzzle. Person saying tipper. No, that's wrong. There's nothing in the drawers ever. Something about this plan feels wrong. I have to keep checking my recording thing to see that it's not. It didn't hit the stop recording button. Papers equal parts smudge and legible. Not budget. Let's see. So with the screwdriver, four, 2.
We've given you chances, ample warnings. You proceed, we grant. Continue on your current path, and they will find nothing left of your head. We swear it. For the last and final time, go back from whence you came.
No. Just making sure that's everything in this room. The same chair from earlier, isn't it? Still a nice painting. Time to put my amateur lockpicking skill to the test. Got it. Oh, wait, again? I thought I just went outside. I have to activate the flashlight, but we're not going to do that. Something about this room is even worse than the last ones. Before, there might have been an odd feeling in the air, a certain untraceable scent, but it at least felt like somewhere people had been. Here, something's definitely wrong. I can hear something deeper in this room, barely perceptible, crying out in pain. Here goes nothing. V. How the hell is this locked if I just came from here? At least you're asking the right questions, my dude. There's no way I'm in the same area I was in earlier, right? This room's massive. Now you'll get another achievement if you read both of these. The Minister's Doom, Act 4, Scene 3. Open, atop the roof of the minister's estate, the minister lies against a statue of a lion, spattered with his blood. A saber hilt protrudes from his gaping wound in his chest. The librarian stands over him, triumphant. And so you finally cease your pathetic writhing. The minister spits up blood. Are you here to taunt me, or to end this charade? Go on. Go on. You've ruined my life, destroyed all I love. Sever what remains, damn you. Come now, minister. Is there any need for this melodrama? Kill me, damn you, kill me. Are you pleading for mercy? I wonder, were you trying to salvage the last of your pride? It doesn't matter. Your reasoning is flawed. What are you? He doubles over, his words lost in a bloody coughing fit. Consider it. Your ties to this world are severed, all earthly connections gone, and I wanted to kill you. And had I wanted to kill you, I could simply have stepped into your estate and placed the saber between your shoulder blades. Also, that's not me, that's my other pet, so my hedgehog. And he's like scratching himself, but like whacking his little tub that he sleeps in. I could have simply stepped into your estate and placed that saber between your shoulder blades. Yet, even now, you still breathe. Your wound's non-lethal. Or I should say, non-lethal enough for our sake. Oh, what the devil are you talking about? Forgive me, Minister. But I'm afraid I've misled you. You see, this was never about vengeance. When I met you on your return from City Hall those 3 weeks ago, it was only a few hours after my first visit to the city. What? Then a tale about the library I put out of business. A very flimsy lie, I'm afraid. Really, I'm quite amazed you didn't see through it. Oh, and since the truth is coming out in the open, it should be said that the odds were insurmountable from the start. You were never just fighting an individual. I knew it. The maid would be. Hey. The maid is already dead. A half-hearted turncoat is of no use to me. Actually, that is exactly the truth that should come out, Minister. For you see, there is no such thing as me. Never was. There's only us. The Minister's silent, his mouth hanging open in shocked awe. A madman. Wrong, my friend. Neither mad nor man. Nor are we here, as you so delightfully put it, to sever you. Quite the contrary, in fact. We want you to join us. The librarian steps closer. We were always in need of a fresh, strong mind. Your impeccable business sense and your knack for keeping it from ever sullying your spotless, smiling public face has proven that you have exactly that. Oh my God, get back! Your God is dead, or asleep, or else he is somewhere out of hearing, or else he does not listen at all. No, no, Minister, my friend, you cannot choose between him and us. The only choice is to come to take us willingly, or for us to take you. The Minister's hand darts into his coat, past the saber. In a flash, he withdraws a flintlock pistol. I make my own options. The Minister fires straight at the librarian's heart. A perfect shot at 0 range, but when the smoke finally clears, the librarian still stands. Casually, he reaches up to brush the pistol shot from his torn overcoat. Regrettably, it seems you forfeited your right to choose. The scene darkens as the Minister gives a strangled, agonized scream. When the light returns, the Minister stands alone. It is only him, the saber, and the bloodstained line. Get comfortable, Minister. We'll be spending a lot of time together. The end. You also get an achievement for this. Here's another tiny book. You know what? Why tiny books make me nervous? Because they're hard to read. Yeah, fair enough. Here's a wrong turn. Again, never looked up a walkthrough. All by myself. I figured this out all by myself. You guys can't say nothing on me. I mean, even though I cheated for the very last puzzle, and I feel like this is supposed to mean something, but I don't know. It doesn't have any semblance of my, what is it, like achievements or the end goal, so I don't, must symbolize something though. On the failures, Word has it that those who pass the librarian's bleak tests are granted knowledge beyond the ken of any other. But you want to know about those who failed? Each fate is as miserable as the next, but very well. Some, few, are allowed to retain their sentience, but lose all mobility. Their spirits are torn from their bodies, with the latter being cast away. The librarian takes these spirits and compresses them. That's right. Those tomes you've seen lining this place, those books you've ignored, many of them were once likely you, poor fools, lost in a foreign place. Then there are the husks, shambling bodies that move without direction through the library's infinite halls, searching for heads that have long since been taken from them. Are their souls still here, locked away in some dark forgotten keep? Potentially, but they will search fruitlessly and forever. These fates are equally terrible, forever trapped in place, forever cursed to wander. But there is one worse than both, especially poignant failures. Those that attract the librarian's knowledge, but fail in the end, are given especially poignant punishments. Some say that in the library's deepest depths, the walls shudder and shake and pulsate with a life that should have died long ago. And some say that these walls are formed of those promising few who could not prove themselves. Is there any egress from this place, in death or otherwise? Perhaps, perhaps not, but I'll certainly never see it. What is this place? Oh, goddammit, what the hell is going on? Why am I back here? I don't know what this is, but it sure doesn't look safe.
Like a beetle in an antline's trap, you flail your way deeper. It is gratifying to watch you wriggle your way to your doom. We so rarely have new visitors. Perhaps we won't spatter you across these walls. Perhaps we'll allow you to stay, join the others. It is what you want, is it not?
Made it to this room, and I'm not going any further. Caught a glimpse of him, bastard that's been talking in my ear. Wearing a dark cloak, so I couldn't see much more than his figure. Shape of his head wasn't human. Makes sense. Can't stop capitalizing his name. Psychosomatic? Or did he do something to me? No, I won't be able to stay here forever. No, he's waiting for me, just a little beyond the door on the other side of this room. Looks like I have a date with this crevasse. Anything preferable to what I think he's got in mind for me. If you're reading this, you should probably join me down there. Whatever's ahead. Won't be pretty. Never been one for modern art. This image makes me feel like I miss someone. An optimistic painting for a place like this. You wouldn't even be here had you not been so damn curious. Only got a letter from a friend, and then you woke up here? Yeah, nothing you did. I know better. You've searched for the library at home, actively tried to be ensconced by the pool of black knowledge and forgotten places on the internet, in the dusty cabinets of the world. You were looking for something. We both know why. It was all because of that letter. But it isn't just guilt that moves you, is it? It's that hungry feeling, the desperate wish to know all there is before the grave wraps its gnarled hands around your leg and pulls. Though mine has been lost to the ages, I can sense your heart beating. In fact, everything in and around the library can. Poor stupid bastard. If you recognize what forces you've caught the attention of, I think you'd go the other way. The one before you did. I think you'd go the way the one before you You did. Did you do? Ooh, you tried to get closer. No. Still locked. I wonder if there's even anything behind this door. Close it again. Wasn't here. Oh! There. Okay, yeah, sorry. I know where it is. Let's think about this room as unnatural. I don't like it at all. Here we'll find another mini book and another forbidden knowledge. Not much to read in here or anything, just a bunch of weird shit, so. It's a crying shame, isn't it? You tried to get closer, didn't you? Ha! I caught it. I caught it, right as it did it. No, read it. Stop. Nice try. Better luck next time. He never had a chance. Yeah, my mouse kept trying to reset up near the thing, the recording button, but like I got it. Stop recording, and boom, I recorded right after it. And also, we can't go down there. That doesn't really matter. Oh. Looks like I'm not going to be getting it away after all. So much for last gambits. Don't pick up the blocks. He wants something from you. You'll regret it. Mark my final words. V. And I think that is the last time we hear from V. Anyways, there's the fourth tiny book. Guess we got to root out what killed. Wait. Guess we got to root. Got to the root of what killed this plant. Lol. Picked up up forbidden knowledge. Why is this book moving? Why is it moving? What's here? Oh, did I hear something close behind me? Oh, I think I did. Oh, I did close by. I never noticed him there before you saw him, didn't you? He closed it on me. Wow, there's things I'm noticing that I didn't the last recording. That's actually pretty nifty. Probably a good thing that I restarted. Anyways, so we grab those and we read them. So what we're gonna, okay. So, when adulthood found her, she found herself desiring solitude more and more frequently. Since her youth, her home had sat at the edge of a vast forest, which her family had warned her against exploring, but on the night of her 30th, she went alone to finally explore. The woods were equal parts dark and foreboding, with thin sickly antlers, creating almost a fence of wood. As she weaved between them, she arrived at a derelict cabin abandoned for years. Naturally, she entered, her curiosity driving her. They said that the marks found on what remained of her body afterward bore wounds as if made by a bear. though few had seen a corpse so thoroughly savaged by an animal. He was only a child, left alone for too long, as children are wont to do. He went off in the high, grassy hills above the apartment complex he called home. The tall grass came almost to his chin, tickling his nose when he stepped forward. The freedom normally kept from him was finally his, and it was magical in its way. So deeply enthralled with the hills, the grass, the view of the town, was he that he did not think to listen for the rustling of grass. When the snake's fangs sank into his young flesh, they met no resistance. His body was found days later, huddled into a ball. In her middle age, she had little to do, and so gained a fascination with the old radio in her attic. It was a relic from her childhood, and it had never worked properly. As she waned in the seclusion of her home, a desire to see it working again overtook her. Her curiosity matching her seclusive nature in equal parts, she plumbed knowledge in the dark recesses of her attic, building capacitors and vacuum tubes, twisting metal and wires. In the end, the radio sang. It was more than a radio should have been. Flames spouted from the speakers, from wires from the shattered glass tubes. The fire ate up everything it touched. She was reduced to a blackened skeleton. He was as old as sin, perhaps older, and had lived alone for a long time. Over his many years he had accumulated much wealth, knowledge, fond memories, but nothing to stop the onset of time. As he walked the dark halls of his mansion, he paced in the dark. As he worried away his time in his study, time continued along, tearing at his flesh, bending his brittle bones. The hand of the clock peeled his organs away from his body, one by one, until his waning strength finally failed him. He was found slumped in his chair, surrounded by books bearing unidentifiable sigils. In the end, even they had not saved him. He was 16 when he went driving alone for the first time. His family had kept him from the world, he said, and it was more than high time that he went and learned about what was out there. It was less than an hour before he was lost. He hadn't received his license yet, after all, and there were many winding side streets surrounding the small town he called home. It was on a lightless intersection where he met his fate. The pickup hit his sedan without stopping. As his vehicle spun out and rolled into a ditch, the pickup vanished into the night. His head was pulverized by the steering column, turning it to little more than paste. Looks like phases of the moon. So I know the puzzle here, but I'm going to do something real quick. Screw it, I'm not going to get these. Who cares? So the puzzle here, to solve it, we go in order. Snake, that's the youngest person. Next is the teen, he was 16. Next was the bear, she just reached adulthood. Next was the fire, she was middle-aged. Finally was the clock, the man was as old as sin. The safe contains a lump of blackened flesh. Dark comes crushing down. It swallows you whole, swallows you whole. Oh God, the lights go dim, one by one.
You've piqued our curiosity. We read your book, discovered that, for a mortal, you're rather unique. The same way that a human might consider a primate, you almost remind us of ourselves. Though, of course, we'd never be stooped in your level.
How are you so small? So there's that one. There's one more book. And I think there's one more piece of forbidden knowledge. that thing in the safe. I think I recognized it.
Get out! Can't you find your way out?
Oh, I heard that stuff. Something is blocking me from getting to that door.
You should find your way out soon. You won't want to be here when the light fades in full.
The darkness is coming. The first time I recorded this, the light eventually ended up consuming me because I was standing here for too long. Or the darkness consumed me because I was standing here for too long.
Soon you shall see what
It is locked. What? Oh no, Scoop. Looks like this is the end. Well, I'm just gonna catch you either way, so who cares? Anyways, so we got a little bit of knowledge. Can we read this? Oh, we can't. We can't read. Can you? Come on. Help us, please help it. Help us, damn it, help, we've been damned. That's the... Damn. I did not come across that book either. But, oh, here's the final mini book. The little tiny book. You could say this book has been well read. And these guys can grab you, I guess, sort of. So. Oh, thank God, I'm finally back where I entered. Time to get the hell out of here. If you try to look around at anything or like observe anything, blah blah blah, yeah, it's gonna do nothing. Like, your guy wants to get out of here. Prada. Yeah. So.
Oh, good. You're finally here. Certainly kept the suspense going. Stay right there. We shall be with you shortly, and once we're there, we'll turn your form into something more palatable. More arms, we think. More legs. The eyes out. Stay right there.
I don't think I will. I think I can still pick up a couple of these here and there. Not those ones. I forgot which room it is, but like, I can just pick them up, but it does like literally nothing. Oh, you got so close. Oh. Anyways, well, isn't this place a wreck? If I lived someplace as disorganized as here, I think it'd just be a matter of time before I was swallowed up by all the trash. I like the staircase though. They're nice staircases though. They're a nice touch. You're probably wondering what needs to be done here. I think deep down you already know. Since you're so inclined to play dumb, though, I'll give you a hint. It'd be a lot easier to get around here if you could somehow organize everything somehow. Also, I'm gonna do the things in a completely different order than last time. Okay. Well, actually, yeah, sure, I'll do it in a different order. So, if this place were mine, it would not be pure. The answer to the path ahead is embedded in a column of red flesh. Boop. Can I read that? Can I read that? Okay. This game's put me on edge for a different reason, aka I don't want to hit the double code button. Dang. Or dang. Here, I just had it over here and now it moved all the way. Like sometimes I'll stop and I'll like put it down here and then it'll be like boom and I'm like, ow. Anyways, if this place were mine, it would not be pure. It seems pure, but there are cracks, memories of others' misdeeds, of evil committed. There are reoccurring themes in each memory, and one that is alone. The numbers will open your path back. So, what we need to do, also, nothing legible here, yeah. So, grab that. It's 8, 4, 3, 1. You little shit. You hadn't done enough already. Now I'm trapped here, damned to repeat this shit like I'm a goddamn tape recorder. If you had an ounce of remorse, you'd dash your brains out on the nearest wall. He was never much good at forming connections with people, and this time wasn't any different. That woman who'd walk into his life spent a night and a half with him, and recognized him for what he was, a empty, half-formed piece of sentient scum. Naturally, he took eons more from their brief tryst than she ever intended. Spent days upon days, picking their every second together apart, thinking about what he could have done differently. Not once did he even consider what he should have known in the first place, that they just wasn't anything to him. He wasn't person enough for himself, let alone another. And then now you see it kind of transforms a little bit. This is scrunchier. I think for the most part it's about the same. One of those disappeared. There were like 5 of them. All of this here will go into the next room, which is both times, this time and the last time, the second room I did. Kind of like this room though. Don't listen to them. If you can help it, you and me, we're birds of a feather. I can tell. Better to pull the covers over your head and to cover your ears in case you hear something you don't want to. I heard something. Sit down and let the inevitable wash over you. I take this fate to turning into one of those husks. Brr, gives me shivers. But if you're really hell-bent on rappelling into the lion's gullet, and don't say I didn't warn you, I guess you need all the help you can get. Here's what I have to say. Listen carefully. Alright, now this puzzle. Oh, and here's this.
Everything is fine and nothing can harm.
I'm just checking my thing.
You just
Everything is fine. Nothing can harm you. Just
stop
thinking. Play dumb all you like. The librarian already knows your body inside and out. He spent all of this time searching and eventually he found his goal. There were places, even in the digital world, where things not meant for mortal eyes lurk. He got only the slightest glimpse of what such place, and it was enough. The eyes of the librarian were upon him from that point forward. What happened was destined to happen. Worst of all, he would never find the knowledge he sought. Maybe it's better that way. Now there's only 2 eyes. I wonder what would happen if we went that way instead, if there's an ending. I never even tried that. But I don't think there's anything over there when I go forward. It's in the middle now. Anyways, here's the last little item. But let's do this puzzle to transmogrify the thing. Right. So these notes, I'll just show you. The second. The first. Sorry. The fourth. The third. And the fifth. Joy of the Recluse. Of his 5 fingers, he lost 2. Only 3 remained. Without the first, he would have been an animal. Without the second, he could no longer condemn. Without his final remaining finger, his hand would look a little strange. I'm so sorry, this book. Yeah, you little bastard. This is what things look like here anyways. I've spent a lot of time in this hellhole, and I'd be willing to bet if you dug up the floorboards anywhere, this is what you'd find. Eyes, pulsating flesh, red guts, blood. That's what I think. I think this is all there is. A place like this, without seas, couldn't exist on its own, and empty nothingness. No, if it's going to make up all this space, if it's going to contain so much knowledge, is it so far-fetched that something might have changed in its makeup, that it might have come alive? Forget it. I can see you already have your own beliefs. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't goddamn matter. This room is a trap. Must be. Those tables with the notes weren't here until earlier. I can't say when, but I think they've come for you. Serves you right. I know you're kind. But if it'll help you get the hell out of my room, well, it's a test too. I guess you did. Christ, I can still see your slack-jawed expression. Fine, I will give you not 1, but 2 whole hands. Even a damn fool like you should be able to use them. 1, the librarian would like to give you a hand. 2, the flesh in that safe does not operate like its predecessor. Give me a second. Okay, so I was just checking to make sure the dog didn't get up and start eating shit off the floor. She does that a lot because she's a dog. And that's what dogs do. So here's this arm. It really doesn't do anything. But yeah, she just moved over on the other side of the bed. So yeah, 1, 2, 5. I know more than the others, but I won't tell you. He spent too much time alone thinking, and that accelerated his downfall. A terrible thing befell the woman he claimed to have loved. It consumed him, consumed his every waking moment, whether or not he had been loved back. Depression lost him, his job, and his home, turning a sad wreck of a human being into a sadder, hollower thing. His focus, his obsession, never stayed. She was gone from his life, and as far as he was convinced, that was all that mattered. Even when a family member took him in and sheltered him, he all but ignored them. So enwrapped with himself was he. We're pretty much close to the end. But I will never get past. I guess there's no way to get past the meat bug. We'll never be able to know what's behind that door. Not like it even matters much. Oh, can't really go there either. So it doesn't matter there either anyway. So. So we're pretty much at the end. Let's go through here. I knew you'd come. Very well, I'll speak. He was always inclined towards solitude. Not that he had any choice in the matter. In fact, if he had, perhaps solitude would not have been his lot. But he was terrible with words, worse with speaking. It wasn't so much a matter of laughter at his expense. He was merely a curiosity, an ingrown strange thing, vaguely uncomfortable, but otherwise without note. There was one exception to his lonely existence. As he aged, he found himself in the position of an archivist, surrounded only by dust, dead things, dead words. Though he had grown used to the solitude, he hated it with a burning, quiet passion. Thus, when a graduate student about his age came to plumb the dry and dead things, he forced himself to try to strike up conversation with her. To his delight, she returned his words, and for the first time in ages, he felt his heart beat a little faster. Oh, sorry, you can't go this way. It won't let you. There's nothing to do. It's pretty cool. Choo-choo track. Stairs. Stairs here. Now, we reach the end. Oh. That is ending 2. That is it. No, 1, 2, 2. I don't think I'm being matters. We'll do this one first. I did that one first, but we'll do this one first. He was aware enough to be jealous, though she rebuked his advances, though she suggested the two of them never see each other again. It was, of course, not enough for him. He would come by daily, nightly. When she locked the door, he would continue to bang on it. When she called the police, he still found ways to watch from afar. Until one night, that is, when he watched an unknown, foreign shape enter her abode. Though he could only barely make the silhouette out, he could tell it was a man, and that was enough to send him into a rage. The authorities arrived too late on the scene to save anyone. Though the fire was contained, the victims died of smoke inhalation. Somehow they hadn't been able to open the front door. The screwdriver keeping it jammed was no longer at the scene of the crime. Of course. When I next opened my eyes, I found myself on an empty road in a desolate place. There was a faint, ephemeral quality to everything. It didn't fill me with confidence. In the back of my head, I felt a thought burn like a fallen ember from the end of a cigarette. And the same thing I stumbled last time. Was I free, or was I still trapped within the library's vast expanse? Also, you can move around. Am I walking or am I driving? And how could I tell, even if I arrived home and everything was as it had been? How could I know if the librarian's voice would be just on the other side of every door, of every window, forever? I guess it doesn't matter either way. At the end of everything, I never found what I had come to the library to gain. For the rest of my life, I think I'll find myself wondering just what it was that I missed. Perhaps the failure was a blessing, empty as I could find myself left. Perhaps there was something even worse waiting for me, if I'd only looked a little deeper. But I doubt it. There. Thanks to all these people with some hard names I cannot pronounce. Made by these three talented people, and voiced by these three talented people, and playtested by these great people right here. And I would love to be a part of a playtest at some point in the future of any guy's game, maybe. I don't know, playtesting seems like it would be a cool thing, but maybe I just would not be very good at it. Who knows? Anyways, let's skip to ending 2 for you guys. Before we reach the second ending, I didn't notice this, but if you go over on this side instead of the other side in room 2, you'll find a neat version of the dude. And yes, he does appear on both ends, so that's a pretty interesting thing. There's something in the darkness. This is in the third room. Didn't notice these guys here. Pretty creepy if you ask me. I glitched my way off the platform when we get the third piece of knowledge. Wonder what happens if I proceed further into the tunnel. Oh. Did I break the game? Uh-oh. I broke it. Okay, so we're pretty much at the end again. Sorry for dilly-dallying so much. Also, I came to the end again at one point. So through my first playthrough, I pointed this out. But through the second playthrough, I already came through here once. But there's a reason. It's not that. But that's just really cool. I like how they mess around with reality here. But no, that's not it. Okay, so what I did wrong. So You'll see. I'll get to it. But, so now we'll go for ending 2. Now what we need to do, and yes, it is lagging here at this spot. I don't know why it does that. But anyways, remember our notebook. Anyways, so what you have to do is you actually, so the reason I said I already played through to this ending before, in this playthrough again, is because you actually, if without my guide, if you want to figure all this out by yourself, you'll need all of the forbidden knowledge, which will let you decipher all of the words, the jumbled up ancient words. So room 1, you should really clean this place up. Don't lose the trash. So these are all hints to where you find the forbidden knowledge. So you throw away the pieces of paper in the trash. So the first word, there is more than one of these in Librarian. The room, in room 2. Yes, the Room movie. The Room 2. They are making a Room 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 20. Even way past when time Pennywise is dead. They'll get a son, then they'll bring him back from the dead. It'll be amazing. No, sorry, Room 2. This room makes me wish I had someone to vent to. You find it in the vent. Second word, you want but don't merely desire. Your wants are not only a command, but also rhyme with it. Got caught up in rhyme. It rhymes with command. I thought it rhymed with desire. Room 3, I think I'm cracking under the strain. I think I had the strangest inclination to walk straight into a wall. That's where we found the third one. Third word, 2? No, that isn't right. Room 4, there's a secret path in the dark. That's where we found the little trapdoor. You're a learned man. This one you already. And then room 5. Art can really be illuminating. Fifth word, it's not enough. Some is not enough. Most is not enough. You want more. What is it you want? There's more than one I in Librarian. What rhymes with command? Demand. 2? No, that's not right. Only 1 O. I know. And what do I want? All. I demand to know all.
We must say we feared you wouldn't succeed, but you certainly have performed our wildest expectations. Not only did you respond to the strangeness of your surroundings with calm composure, but you also looked deeper into the abyss and found dragged out that which so many others have failed to find. We will grant you the knowledge you seek, and what's more, you will join our ranks. Gone will be the petty guilt that the dog-keeper stole on. Gone will be the drooping flesh, the fading chances, the rotting brain. Now, you will join a covenant that will give you true purpose. should say, this is not a request, not an offer. You will join our ranks. You will become immortal. You will give up your petty humanity. And you will remain here eternally. Now, we think it's time to welcome you to the library's true depths.
Well, that's the end. Let's go back to the credits. Anyways, that's it for Place Forbidden. Despite some of the issues I faced through it with the recording, it was a really good game. I liked finding all its little secrets, all its little story beats. I liked the 2 different endings. It's just a very solid game. It's not too long. It's very good. So I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share with the people who you might think will like this kind of content. Go support the people who make these games, and specifically this game here. It was very good, and it's on Steam for only a couple dollars. It's not really that expensive, so go and check it out. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.